Sounds good.
All right.
Cool.
All right, my friend Dylan Smith, fellow sailor and good friend and visionary and dreamer and entrepreneur and artist. Thanks for carving out an afternoon to hang out with me. And let's open these beers before we start talking. If
Yeah, man. Cheers.
I'm struggling over here. You ever get that? You ever trim your nails so short you can't?
Oh yeah, dude, you gotta at least leave one nail long enough to open a beer.
No, you need to use the freaking my scissors here. Cool. What do you got over there? What are you having?
I'm drinking a Dirty Hippie from Palisade Brewing Company.
That's nice.
What do
Are
you
they
got?
just they paying you to say that?
No, dude, it's just my favorite beer. This is like after deployments, everything that every
Here,
debt we went on.
we'll do
This is
a
the beer I
boop.
have. Cheers.
I got this. We have a bunch of breweries in the city I live in called Sanford, and this is a Heffenweiser called the Dees beer.
All right.
There we go. You can kind of read it from Dees Brother Brewery. So, but I've never had it. So this is. You ever had like German beer?
Oh yeah, dude, we got tons of that up here in Fort
Yeah, it's
Collins.
it's like a light German. I don't know it's called Heffenweiser, so I guess that's their classification system.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but that's a light one. Um, Cool, man. So I've been watching you a while. Well, obviously, I've known you since like we were in the Navy together. We worked on the planes together and all that stuff. We've all gotten out and gone our separate ways, but we stay in touch on Facebook and we all keep an eye on each other. And I've been watching you do your art thing when we work together, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Right on. He's passionate about that. And then I saw it flourish into this on Instagram and Facebook. And we caught up not that long ago on like a video call, and I was just seeing how you're doing, catching up, and wanted to, you know, just talk about your art thing. And it excited me how far you've grown it and you're continuing to put the work in. But what also excited me was that like you're not in this for the money, because you've had people like offer to partner up with you and be like, yeah, but you need to do these designs because these are trendy. And you're like, nah, fuck all that. We're doing this. We're doing this my way and we're staying true to me. And that really stood out to me. So I'm like, dude, I gotta do it like an hour. I gotta do a podcast with this guy. So, hopefully, we can spread the word about some of the things you're doing. But yeah, I really admire it. And how did you get started in all this? Have you, why start your own art business?
Well, first of all, thanks, man. I appreciate all the praise and everything, I think I just decided to take a leap of faith, I guess, There's no excuse not to. We're both still young, we're both doing our own thing, and it's if I fail, it's not that big a deal. I just move on from there, but I know I'd regret it if I never just started, trying to work for myself anyway. And uh I feel like I come up with a lot of designs I want a lot of people to see and share. And I've noticed certain things that I make uh, reach people differently. And I want to be able to just kind of get that out to everyone if I can.
Yeah. I watched I got to see some of your designs, like you had a sketchbook, like you plow through pages on the boat. I remember you because like I'd pop in for tools and it'd be like, oh, he's on a new page, like he's doing something different today. And you you drew all kinds of different designs. Are there things you get inspiration from, or is it all from up here, or
I
both?
mean, it's a little bit of both, Like I feel like every artist will tell you their list of favorite artists and things that they pull from. And nowadays we live in an age of, Instagram, Pinterest, stuff like that. You can see anyone's art and you can be like, oh, I like that little thing about it or this little thing about it, and kind of develop your own style by stealing others.
Yep.
Uh, but I usually I have a separate style, almost like a surrealism style when I'm doing my own thing. Um, and then I fall in love with certain other styles that have parameters like big in the Navy's the traditional tattooing, Sailor Jerry stuff. It has very strict rules, so it's kind of nice to look at artwork like that and put yourself in that bubble of like these are the rules that you need to follow to make a design, to make something that reads really well. It's really clean. but it still has your own flavor on it, I guess. I feel like doing stuff like that helps me grow as an artist. So probably what you saw on the boat a lot of was a lot of that, a lot of me trying just new things out because we had so much time and nothing else to do. I might as well get good at what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So I guess between now and then, how has it evolved? Because you didn't have an LLC back then, and now you do, which is exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, I guess in the Navy, it was just, drawing's always been like a hobby. I always loved it, always did it for a long time, almost my whole life, really. And uh, I was always that guy that's like, hey, can you design this tattoo for me? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then it just dawned on me after being out and stuff. It's like I'm pursuing a degree, which is great and I love it, but uh, I have no excuse not to do what I want to do for a living. So I love drawing. I love painting. I love creating things. And I think that just now that I have all this time to actually really think about what I want to do for the rest of my life, I thought no better time than now than just to start the business and charge on with it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. To be clear for like those of watching at home, like he's doing this in addition to school right now. So and that says it all because school's taking up a good amount of your time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm going over the full-time minimum for sure. I'm graduating in spring actually, and it'll be right on my 3 year mark. So I'm graduating early and uh yeah, I mean, I pretty much spend all my free time working either creating new designs or creating new platforms or finding new things I can try to create with research, whatever, you know.
Yep. So one of the, I've seen you do some pretty cool designs, and I've seen you do them on a number of different things. I've seen a lot of skateboard decks, which I think is awesome. Um, and then I see the t-shirts and the art. I would think those are like sketchbook designs that get put on clothing. Um, but what else are you putting designs on? Are you making these some of these designs specifically for what it's going on, or is it kind of a put anywhere?
Yeah, so it kind of just depends really. I take a lot of custom work and that's usually where you see the skateboard decks and uh canvas paintings and stuff like that. But recently I started dabbling into going into antique stores and I find these antique saws, uh, like old saw blades, and I'll sand them down and I'll paint on the saw blade and refinish the handle and make it look all nice. And so that's a big seller out here in Colorado where people love wildlife paintings and stuff like that. So I'll paint some mountains and some elk and
On an old
some,
handsaw?
yeah, like on an old school handsaw.
Okay, that's cool.
Um, yeah, and it's great because it's kind of like another way to challenge myself of like I can put my designs on anything. Um, and yeah, so I usually custom work like that or wood burnings. I've been doing a lot of wood burnings lately. People love cutting boards with little, their little custom ideas and designs on them. And it's like I usually hand paint all the skateboard decks and um, they take I don't know. They take the most amount of time, but I think I'm the most proud of those just because there's no once you put the paint on there, there's like no going back, you know? I mean, you can paint over things, but I like to almost look at it like a tattoo. It's like it's on there. Like I'm not gonna move anything. If I make a mistake, I need to learn how to work around it. A lot of those t-shirt designs and everything, like you said, they come from my sketchbook or an digital art platform where I can manipulate things and move things around and I can make it look all fancy and then throw it on a t-shirt, which is great. But I still always kind of veer towards making that one design for that one person so it can actually, yeah, I just love that aspect of like I'm going to be kind of a part of that person's life through my artwork, you know?
That is pretty wild. How many people you say are walking around with your art on them on their skin?
Oh man. God, I couldn't even count to be honest. There's got to be at least, I mean, just from the Navy alone, there's probably, I wouldn't say 100, but we're getting close to that. And then from all my other buddies back home and friends and family and stuff, like Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gotta be around 100, I'd say, probably.
That's wild. Do you ever get to have a conversation with the tattoo artist and be like, "No, man, like I designed it this way," like, and he's
I
like,
mean,
"Well, it's
yeah, but I think the trick is you always find that like quality tattoo artist, right? Because they're artists as well. They're phenomenal artists, and like I designed all my tattoos, and what I normally did is like would show the design to the guy and show up with a black and white one and be like, "This is what I'm kind of going for, but I like your style, so however you have to manipulate it." And I let him throw his own style on top of mine, and uh, I've had some that are unchanged, and I've had some that are changed a little bit, and I'm always happy with it. It's kind of like it's almost like an artist collaboration at that point, you know?
yep, that's kind of cool that you're open-minded." I remember when I have a big back tattoo. I don't know if you've seen it, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
when I had it done, for everyone on the internet right now, there's a pretty bad Navy tattoo under that, and you'll never know what it is. But I knew I wanted it cover up, and I knew I didn't want to do it half-ass, so I was like, "Go big or go home." But I didn't know what I wanted. Like I thought I knew what I wanted, and like you said, I was like, I just went on Pinterest, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, cliche American traditional cats. Cats are cool. We'll do some cats. I don't know. And I took it to the artist, my tattoo artist, Mike Holes, out of Dark Side Tattoo down in San Bernardino, California. For anyone listening, um, and he told me, he's like, it's good, but here's why that won't work, and let me sketch something up, and we'll see if that's something that might interest you. And we went over it, and because he wanted to explain like how to use, and I know you're not a tattoo artist, but I think you would mutually appreciate it. Is like, hey, Colin, your design's great, but you need black ink to cover up that other black ink.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if you thought about that, buddy, but people have to not see this or look through it or past it. And he broke down those intricacies to me, and it ended up coming out great. I don't even see it half the time because it's on my back, but other people tell me it's great. So
Yeah, man. I remember when you were working on that piece, it's taken a while. We like changing in between shifts or whatever, and I was always checking out how much further it went along. And I'm a little too much of a wuss to get my back done, I think. Right now
no,
anyway. Uh
you're not missing out.
yeah. Uh but yeah, man, that's what I really appreciate about like tattoo artists and stuff too, is they have that eye of this is a design, and then if some like a cover up is a whole different realm of artwork. I feel like you have to manipulate things, and like you said, he's got to make it to where I got to cover up all this black crap with some other black crap, but then form it to where it's a totally different design. It's definitely a hard thing to do. For me, I just got an eraser.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're multifaceted. So you do ink, right? So you're good old fashioned pen and paper, but you're also doing paint. And did you grow up doing paint, or when did you learn that skill? Because that's a
No,
different skill.
yeah, so I actually I'd say recently got into painting. And recently within like 5 years, I always grew up just drawing. It's always available when you're a kid as a piece of paper and a pencil, and um got really big into pencil drawings, and then I'd start adding some little bit of ink and kind of that comic book style artwork. But yeah, painting, just started dabbling in it. Honestly, I love it. It's fun, but it's not my forte for sure. I'm still always trying to learn and trying to learn new techniques and things to do. And I'm always fascinated by color theory is a big deal. And uh, because I mean, all my stuff was black and white for so long. I understand shadows, but you start throwing in color theory, it's kind of a whole new game, you know? It's a huge thing that can make something pop or make something kind of just fade in the background. And especially with the t-shirt and t-shirt designs and apparel designs, you want it to pop, you want it to grab people's attention and be, not too aggressively at the same time. It's like a fine little balance of you don't want to be too show offy, but you want to be like, hey, here I am, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I like you got some stuff on display behind you there. And I like
Yeah.
those. Yeah, they pop good. They do. Maybe you could explain this better, but could you kind of unpack um maybe not color theory, but like how colors contrast and they complement each other, and like I see it, like I'm looking in the background right now and I see we got this maybe you could better describe it. The t-shirt on the bottom, we got green contrasting with the white, and then the lettering is in almost like a blood red or a dark pink. I can't tell through the
Yeah, yeah,
camera.
exactly. Yeah, it's a blood red. It's yeah, so that's kind of like as far as colors go, the basic idea is if you imagine the color wheel we all learn in elementary school, and you have your primary, tertiary colors, but everything had whatever color you choose on the opposite side of the wheel is its complementary color. So I think like red and green, Christmas colors, very complementary, blue and orange, stuff like that. Um, but you can play with different shades of different things, and uh, there's a whole realm of if you want to design to feel cool, like colder, you're thinking like blues, greens, purples, stuff like that. And if you want something to feel warmer, oranges, yellows, reds, and that's kind of how you get those. You look at paintings of sunsets and stuff like that. They always feel warm and inviting because they're using a lot of warm colors. But if you look even harder, you'll notice all the little details almost in the foreground. They'll use shadows and dark colors to make the sunset even pop more, and it'll make your eye track, and you're like, oh wow, there's actually other stuff in here. Um, so that's kind of a little bit of the way I think about when I make these huge designs. Is I want that contrast to initially take your attention, but then I want a little things here and there that keep your gaze on it and look at it a little bit longer. And I've always enjoyed designs like that where you're whether it's the line work or if it's the colors themselves that really just make your eye track even longer and you find more and more things. It's kind of like doing a video game, right? And they got the open world one, and it's like you can play the main storyline or you can do all the little side quests. And I kind of like do that with artwork where you can look at the main idea or you can start at the main idea and then just start tracking along and finding new new ideas and new things. And uh, I don't know. I always kind of like that. It's like a golden egg or Easter egg little thing in every little piece of art, you know?
That's kind of interesting. So you're not only learning how to manipulate the human eye to go where you want it to go, but you're also kind of like bending or not bending, but guiding our mind, like what what we want to unpack or take away from the art. I suppose that's subjective, but it's not just the eye, but it's also like, hey, that makes me feel a certain way, and I noticed that because my eye was drawn down in the bottom left corner, and now I start to notice these other things where at first glance I wouldn't have caught that unless I stopped walking.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the idea is to make someone gaze at it longer than just a glance, especially in, I mean, we live in a time of reels and social media where your attention span can be 3 seconds and move on to the next thing over and over and over. And that's all well and good, but I kind of like that idea of catching the attention and then you have to be in that moment. And if that art speaks to you in that moment, that's what I love is like connect with people in different ways. And because for me, I know this is kind of a cop out, but I always hate it when people ask me, what does it mean? Because it doesn't mean anything. I just thought it would look cool. Every single
Mhm.
time I make something, it really means nothing. And that's where I struggle of if I label a piece of artwork with a title, um, the process is after it's already finished, I have to look at it and be like, what is this kind of like, I guess, or what feeling did most people say that they had when they looked at this, and then I'll name it after that. I don't really go into making something with an intent for it to be creepy or scary or soft or hard or anything like that. Um, so yeah, it's kind of a weird mind game that I've almost developed from watching other people look at my art, other than me focusing on it completely.
No, I think there's a lot. I would agree. I would agree with what you're saying because I mean, I'm not creating the art, but I have tattoos. People are like, "What's the meaning?" And I'm like, I
Right.
got it because it looks cool. I mean, I suppose the meaning of this was to cover up something else that didn't have meaning. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's subjective. Whatever you want it to mean, my friend.
Right.
But there's this other. I don't know if you would call him an artist, but you know who? Beeple is. I think that's his name, Beeple. He makes the NFTs every day.
Oh no, no, I don't know anything about
I'm
NFTs to be honest.
That's okay. But so they're considered NFTs, right? And he can sell them, but truly he's just making digital art and he posts one every day. And he's very successful. He's like been on Rogan and stuff. Let's see if I can find him. But people do the same thing. They try to connect his art and say, "Yeah, I'll send this over to you right now." Not that you even have to open it, but I think you get a kick out of it. He just makes these wild different digital art designs. I almost want to like pull it up. I wish I had a guy working behind the scenes like a Jamie who could just pull up stuff for us.
Yeah.
He makes these different digital art creations daily, and sometimes it could be like a robot head on a baby, and then there's like aliens fighting in the background, and like Hillary Clinton's on a leash, and people are like trying to make these connections, and they're like, "Oh, you're trying to send this." He's like, "No, no, 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 no. There's no message. I'm just making crazy shit, and people buy it." Like,
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, okay.
um,
Yes, now.
are you seeing the thing?
Yeah, yeah, okay.
You want to do a screen share just for context?
Oh, I got it on my phone. Hold on a second. I didn't open it on
I can do a
let's see
quickie
here.
here.
Yeah, if
People.
you could, that would be great. I can't really.
Yeah, I got this.
All right.
I just think it's watch. Yeah, yeah. We got all these different crazy ones. This is great. Okay. I'm curious what your input on this shit might be. Seeing as how it's like I just introduced it to you like 4 seconds ago. Ah, no. Okay, let's see where this goes. Open system preferences. You're gonna you're gonna have to cut this out of the podcast. You know what? That's okay. Whatever. People at home can Google them himself. But yeah, you see a few photos up there. Did you see the one with the astronaut?
Yeah, the one with the astronaut and then these two giants like fighting each other in the desert and
Yeah, he's worth following on Instagram. So those are NFTs, which are, I guess he owns the unique, damn, I've been in IT so long, I don't remember the unique coding to each image, and then he could sell them off. And he's been on Rogan and like talk shows, and people are like, but what's the significance behind them? And he had the same answer as you do. He's like, I thought it was cool.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's all it is. It's just like we're we still have that childlike imagination and we just developed a skill to share it with other people. Like everyone has a great imagination. Everyone can imagine these like surrealistic entities, or they can imagine a building being built up or whatever. And that's how you get architects, is like, oh, I can imagine the building, but I can also show you with my hands how to the building I'm thinking of. And it's the same thing with art. Like I'm just putting my idea on paper for everyone to see just because I thought it was cool. And it's the same thing with, like, you think about a joke that's funny, and being able to deliver the joke is a totally different thing, right?
Yep.
Like we've all heard a really funny joke that someone's done terribly and the room is silent, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's super awkward every time because they're usually pretty dark jokes. But uh I think it's all the same thing. I think it's just like the human capability to express their imagination in different ways, you know? And I just so happen to fall in. I just love making art. Like it's just my thing. I enjoyed it, so I developed the craft, and uh, that's the way I like to share my ideas.
Yeah. No, I think you're killing it. Do you have anyone you look up to like that I wouldn't say you're trying to emulate, but like who inspired you into all this or
Oh yeah, man. I mean, there's a laundry list. Right off
that's
the top of my head, I think my favorite artist. Well, dang, we'll start from the beginning. When I started getting into drawing, was just stupid little Beavis and Butthead doodles. And that moved on to I think we grew up with like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. So I used to trace the characters until I could draw them without tracing them. And then I got my hands on some comic books and started doing the same thing, tracing Spider-Man and Batman until I could draw them without tracing them. So I'd say all those that type of art for sure at first. But then when I really noticed I was a little bit ahead of everyone else growing up in class, and we, little art classes here and there, and my self-portrait actually looked like a person instead of just a circle with a smile. Uh, I started really studying different artists, and the one that really projected my style and what I thought was capable of art was Salvador Dali. Uh, he's this amazing, amazing surrealism artist. I mean, he's got tons and tons of famous paintings. He's just a beautiful, beautiful stuff. He does this oil paintings, which I've never even tried oil painting, but his subject matter is really what drew me into started drawing uh, more surrealistic stuff. And um, then from him, I kind of moved into, I found Alex Pardee. I was a big fan of The Used, and he did one of their album covers, and it was this tree with a heart being hung in a noose. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And then I started looking into him, and he does these crazy, hyper detailed, demonic, surrealistic things. And I really gravitated towards that. And I think that's where my art really took off was I was emulating a lot of his techniques and then started mixing in my own ideas. And then after that, it was just became, like I said, there's a laundry list of artists that I could go over all day, but I feel like I take little different bits and pieces of each one of what I like to make my own style, you know?
I like it. I'm actually multitasking while I'm listening to you here, and I'm gonna try to pull up some Salvador Dali because I think I got into my system preferences.
Oh yeah, dude.
So
If you
I
haven't
want
seen his stuff before, it's amazing.
his name rings a bell, but I'm again I'm not like, oh, the guy with the mustache. Okay, let's see if we can share this
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah. Can you see this?
It said, oh, yep, yep, that's
Screen
him.
sharing? Okay, so we got Salvador. So let's see if we can this is some of his work. You got any favorite pieces?
Oh man.
Oh, it's okay. Just
Let's
let me
see.
know if you something stands out.
Yeah, man.
Oh, this is some wild shit. This guy's like, you people are, I swear to God, you people are all the same. Dude, this guy's like old school people. So if that guy's making crazy NFT art, what time period is this?
Oh man, this is off. God, I can't even remember the time period. Put me on the spot.
It's okay.
I want to
We have the
say,
internet.
yeah. I mean, it's 1950s, maybe. That might be too.
So he's born in '04. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. So yeah, let's say 50s, 60s, 40s. That's cool. I wonder
Yeah.
if it resembles in any way like what's going on with the world at the time.
I mean, so that right there, the clocks is like one of his all-time most popular ones. I really like it too. It's just interesting. Yeah, it's just beautiful paintings. Like like it seems so simple, but then you start looking around and you start noticing little different aspects of everything. And
Yeah, it's an
uh,
interesting concept for sure.
yeah. So this is really what kind of got me into. I'm like, oh wow, I can actually just keep on putting little, like the Easter egg thing, right? Like there's little symbols and little things here and there that kind of it's not just clocks, right? There's more going on in the painting. So yeah,
What
man,
was
he's
what was the second artist you mentioned?
Alex Pardee. If you ever watched the movie Sucker Punch back in the day, I think he did most of the artwork for that.
I have seen Sucker Punch. That was a pretty cool movie.
Yeah, so that's like kind of up his style. All right, that one with the knife is like my all-time favorite.
Sucker Punch was like that oh damn it. All right, let's do a commercial break.
All right,
But all right, we're back from the commercial break.
all right, there we go.
All right, what was I talking about? Let me close Facebook here. Everyone look away. All right, so we got some artwork from Alex Purdy. Oh, is it sharing? I gotta share again.
Yeah, we're not seeing nothing.
One, two, three.
There we go.
Cool. Okay, so we got this up. This is what we were talking about before.
Right, yeah. So this is the guy that got me into like the hyper detailed, crazy, creepy stuff that I love now, you know?
That's interesting. So when I saw some of your work, I thought just coming from like motorcycle and car culture, I thought like rockabilly, rat fink. Do you know any of that?
A little bit, yeah. So I do enjoy that kind of stuff for sure. And I feel like it's more of a reined in version of what this guy puts out, and that's probably kind of where I'm at as well. So that's probably why when you saw that, it's probably in that area, you know?
The same realm. Um, that's a pretty cool one. Yeah, we have I know a lot of the old tattoo shop I used to go to, they would do these up on the side. And I think this comes from like old school hot rod culture that used to be a logo,
Yeah,
some
I
brand.
remember having these little like the Rat Fink stickers and stuff growing up.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people take this and change it up and turn it into different things. Like, look, we got like Slimer from Ghostbusters here, but then like this is kind of the original Rat Fink, and then people have taken it and messed with it and put them in cars and stuff. And I always enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I think I had a sticker pack where it was a bunch of different like cartoons or something like that Batman one and stuff like that. It's like different cartoons that I knew that they did in that style, and they're all in their own little vehicles and stuff.
Oh yeah. All right, let me see. How do I full screen this? Struggling to learn how to use freaking Zoom.
Yeah, man, it's nuts, man. I when I started school, it was still the COVID era of going to school for a little bit for the first bit, and everything was Zoom and Teams, and uh, honestly, I don't blame any of those high schoolers that were struggling to learn anything. This is
Yeah.
it's definitely a different. It's great for what it is, but I couldn't sit here and go to school like this for 4 years. There's no way.
No, no, it happened too. Like I remember I was on shore duty in Lemoore and I started taking college classes because my shore duty was a joke and I had so much free time. And I was like, I want to stay productive. Like I need to do things to set myself up. So I went back to community college in Hanford, which is the city next to Lemoore. And I started taking Spanish because I was like, man, I've been working on it for years. And I was like, might as well just put myself in the class for, throw myself in the deep end, go to the classroom, get the real learning I deserve and need. And then like 3 weeks into class, they're like, the news comes on. They're like, everybody stay in their homes. Like it's super dangerous outside. And then everything went online. And I was
Oh,
like, this is bullshit. Like I can't, you're not going to learn another language through a computer. You'll learn some through a computer, but not, you need other humans to interact with.
yeah, yeah. Like, man, it's I think it's everything too. Like, there's no accountability because there's no like I have to get up and go through my regimen to get ready to go to the place where I need to go learn, and
Yeah.
uh, it's that whole being in that environment and being like, this is my environment where I'm going to learn. But then you're at home next to your bed and
Well,
trying to
absolutely.
like so much harder.
Yeah, the even though it's, from a student perspective, it's nice and convenient to learn through a laptop, and I think a lot can be done through a laptop, but even like a lot of these tech companies were having people work remote and they're like, this is great for business. We don't need office space, this, that, and the other. But then performance started slacking because it's like, dude, you can't have it. That's not a team-based environment. Like people need to interact and be held accountable in front of each other.
Oh yeah.
It's like you can't an email checking in and a Zoom on a Thursday is not going to cut it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like that whole you remember when we used to get called for duty section and you just wake up and you're like, I'm here, I'm alive, and then you go back to sleep.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. Like
yeah.
that's
For
a good
for
extreme of
those
it.
of you thinking about joining the Navy, it might be the easier path. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to sit at a desk and not do anything on top of your job. Oh man.
yeah, that wasn't a bad one. Um, what what have been your favorite projects so far? It not doesn't necessarily have to have been for someone else.
Yeah, actually, I'd say my first skateboard I ever did it for myself because I just wanted to dabble. and I made a Pink Floyd skateboard, and I took concepts from all of my favorite albums. So I have like there's The Wall, Dark Side of the Moon, Animals, Division Bells, and I kind of like oh, and Wish You Were Here and all that, and I kind of morphed it all into one board that you can display it either vertically one way, vertically the other way, horizontal one way, or horizontal the other way. Um, and I think to this day it's still my favorite board. It's got so much going on, and um, I don't know. It was one of the first things I ever made for myself too, so that was kind of nice to like put up my own little artwork, you know. Um, and other than that, it's I it's kind of hard to pick a favorite, um, because I feel like I've had almost the same ideas for so long that sometimes they evolve into new pieces. So I'll have something that's in a sketchbook that's been sitting there for 12 years or something, and then I go back to that idea and build on it, and I'll make something totally new and something totally crazy. And uh it's kind of hard to like pick a favorite because sometimes it's like, oh, I had this idea when I was 17 and now I have the skills to push it forward into something totally new. And um ah man, yeah, that's a rough question, honestly. I don't have too many favorites. I kind of so it seems like every time I make something new, that becomes my new favorite thing until I make something new again.
I understand how that goes because I would have, I'd have like motor projects or like motorcycle project. I did the van. Definitely wanting to do some more. Uh, you have a cheaper hobby, my friend. Like I need nuts and bolts and tools and materials, but I don't know. I feel like depending on what you're putting your art on, it could definitely get expensive really quick. I
Oh
like the
yeah.
skateboard deck, the first one you're talking about. I'm not a big Pink Floyd fan either. I know a few of his songs, but was that different? Was that artwork from his album covers or what was that? You have a photo of that?
Yeah, so let me see. There should be a yeah, so I just kind of like I said, I kind of just pulled from different albums that I enjoy. I love the music. I think it's one of the best bands ever to exist, and that's another huge thing for me is I became this I'm a giant fan of music. I think I enjoy music more than I enjoy art, to be honest. I just happen to be better at music or at art, so um
Dylan, they're the same thing.
I mean,
Like, music is art.
yeah, but
Art
it's
is music to the eyes.
that's fair, that's fair. Um yeah, let me see here. Okay, I do have a picture of it. Uh God.
Tell you what, this beer is drying me out. Heffenweise.
Okay, how do now I gotta figure out how
You
to
got to figure
share
it. You
this screen.
are you on MacBook or what are you on?
It's just no, it's a regular
You got a poor
PC.
poor people computer.
Yeah, dude. Let's see. Speaker. Damn, dude.
I know when I did mine, I pressed the share button. It's like you need to update your preferences. Click here. And it just took me like right there.
Oh, okay, I see this share screen button. So let's see. Um, oh, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
What?
Yeah,
We'll see about that. Uh, all participants. There you go. Done.
boom. All right. Let's see. So this is all right, there we go. So this is the Pink Floyd board. Um, can't really, I don't know how to flip this picture, but on the bottom I got like the Wish You Were Here album, moves into the wall. Uh, and then I kind of just came up with this guy, and some of the weirder stuff.
Oh, this is
Uh,
cool.
Dark Side of the Moon, and then some Pink Floyd logos on either side.
Dude, this needs to be behind glass.
Oh man, yeah, I love this thing.
Where is
This
this right now?
this is my house. So I got it. How, how do I stop screen share? Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, I just have it hanging up over by my record player. My idea was to like make a bunch of different artwork with different artists that I really like and kind of throw them up all over my record player instead of doing like I know people put album covers of records and stuff up on the wall, which looks good, but I kind of was like, oh, I'll make my own, you know?
I'll make my own. I love it. Do you have it? Let's see. I want to see photos of the saw blades
Let's see. I
because I
don't,
don't think I've ever seen someone paint on a saw blade. That's kind of a unique idea.
yeah, let me see if,
You know, it'd be cool if you made an image of a turntable playing a saw blade with art you made on the saw blade.
yeah, yeah. Let's see.
That could be your next album cover.
I don't know if I have any saw blades on my computer. Um, just because they're kind of relatively new, so I don't think I've navigated them over yet.
So that they're as of recent. Can you pull up your Instagram? Can I pull up your Instagram?
Yeah, yeah, I can pull it up. I let's see.
Or we'll do some more screen sharing here. All right.
Oh, you might have to pull it up. My computer keeps auto filling my shop.
All right. DY, just your name, right? No, Inertia Art.
Inertia, yeah, Inertia Art LLC.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
spell it wrong. I
yeah,
N E R T I A.
ERTIA. There it is with the Black Sun logo.
Dude, my computer's struggling. Come on. There we
There
go.
it is. Yeah, that first try.
Jeez.
Yeah, I actually just posted a saw blade just recently, so it should be up kind of towards the top.
Okay, so we got some skateboard decks. We got the website. We have a wood stump. We got the Oh, okay. Every time you say saw blade, you keep tripping me up, man. I think circular saw,
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, this is a handsaw.
but this is cool too.
Yeah, man, I just find these antique saws, or in this case, this one was my stepdad's father's saw. So I made all these designs specifically for the families. He used to be a firefighter, had the John Deere tractor. They lived in Arizona. He had the
This is
classic.
great. Do you
He
have
was a.
like, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I was like, this is great. You could make these for the hippies in like, I don't know, Denver and just sell them for a ridiculous, like even in Arizona, the whole Southwest United States, they love all this stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the idea. This is the most popular thing right now over in my area.
They'll hang
Um,
this up in their Airstream Airbnb. They're like, it just
yeah,
really fits the vibe.
yeah. I'm trying to find some broken like snowboards and skis and stuff that nobody uses anymore, and uh, or even like snowshoes. Snowshoes are kind of popular, like the old school wooden ones to hang on the wall. So if I can paint some of those, um,
Would you ever consider tackling a surfboard?
oh yeah, for sure. I just got to figure like the hardest thing for me when I work with something new is how do I strip away that top protective layer so I can actually paint on it is like that's always the hard skill because I'm doing some motorcycle helmets right now too and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know anything about motorcycle helmet painting, so I gotta I gotta
You,
freaking
you know who you should reach out to, and I don't know who if they'll even respond to you, but I'm obviously I love all that motorcycle stuff, so I know a bunch of artists in the community. I'm not their buddy, but I know of them. I know they exist. And there's two people who stand out to me that maybe you could write on your notepad and send a DM to. Might give you a tip. I don't know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
we got the guy who hosts the Fast Life podcast. So he runs a podcast, but he does tons and tons of motorcycle paint work. And
Okay.
he also does helmets. So I forget his first name, but if you just look up Fast Life podcast, it's the host of that. I think his name's Kyle. I'll get you
All
the
right.
guy's name. And then the other guy would be Schultz Design in Northern California. And he does all the paint work for like the unknown industry bikes and the stunt bike. That's my world, right? Like the Harleys and all that. We'll see if
Yeah, yeah.
we'll pull them up here. This is a free shout out for both those guys. And even though it's a different world, I think you get a kick out of what they do.
Oh yeah. Freaking uh
Clear coat and all that bullshit. Tons of prep
yeah, dude.
work and okay, so Schultz. Yeah, he was one of the OGs because like and don't get me wrong, there's people who've been painting motorcycles way longer than this guy. Oh gosh. I gotta look him up. Schultz Design Paint Unknown Industries. My computer's gonna go so slow. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this guy. So as far as like the Harley stunt scene goes and all that stuff, coming out of California, he was doing like this in the mid to early 2000s on a lot of these popular bikes. But he'd do the candy paint jobs you see on like the Cholo lowriders and all that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, and he would emulate that and put them on the Harleys for the guys. So, a ridiculous amount of money and prep work to go on a bike that they're gonna go wheelie and fuck up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it looks great. And most of the stunt riders are so good, they never mess their bikes up, but and they got the money for it. But yeah, he does great work. He'll do helmets too to match the paint jobs. So, all very intricate designs and stuff. So he might be able to tell you a thing or two about strip and clear coat.
Yeah,
And
man.
then
That'd
if
be
we go back to Instagram here, the host of the podcast. Let's see if we can find him. Dude, I'm not being paid a penny by these people. They don't even know I exist. But he does a similar flair to that, but he is out of Dallas. If I can find him. And he does photography. Oh, it's Jace. That's his first name. That's 100%. Yeah, Jace. So he hosts the podcast, but he also does paint work and photography. So let's see if we can find one of his bikes. Yeah, he just did this cool bike.
Oh
And
yeah.
again,
Sweet.
these are old school designs, but you got a little flake in there. And I love all this stuff. I dork out on that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't blame you. It's freaking cool.
And then
I'm like the worst. I'm the worst with it. I love cars and bikes and everything, and I know nothing about them. I'm just like, oh, that one's cool, you know?
yeah, well, hey man, that's whatever. You know, I don't know everything about the Harleys. Like I've learned some stuff, but yeah, this is a relatively newer model, and people will bring in their models. I mean, he's as you would know, painting's not cheap, and I can only
No,
imagine this is a good 20 grand worth of paint job.
that's
So
crazy.
yeah, but he's done helmets. Like he paints up helmets too, so he could probably tell you a thing or two about helmets.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to freaking reach out and see if they'll answer back. Yeah, I think that's my biggest struggle always with a new medium is there's already a whole niche for it. So I'm always willing to tackle new things because you never know. It might be you might do something and be like, oh, okay, this is what I'm gonna do now. You know, like this is
yeah,
it. I feel like I'm still kind of, even though I have the LLC, it's only been around for a little over a year now, and I'm still kind of in that development phase of uh, what's my niche market and what can I really get into. So
sure. Are you
yeah.
so I feel like in this it's like this in so many industries because I'm dealing with this in real estate right now. I'm a realtor and I have a real estate license, so I can help people buy and sell. But just in case you didn't know, there are like more than 30 ways to make money in a real estate transaction.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm still learning that. I'm learning to partner up with wholesalers, and I can make calls. Well, I can also show homes, or shoot, I can just push paperwork. I can get paid to introduce people together. Like, and I'm not even a part of the deal. My name's not even on the paperwork. I just introduced people.
That's
I'm
crazy.
like, I'm learning about that. And I would imagine in a lot of aspects, you got the pen and paper stuff down. You're doing traditional paint, traditional paint,
Like, yeah, acrylic painting.
acrylic, but
Yeah.
not on canvas, I guess. You're doing it on other stuff.
I mean, that's the other thing is I do canvas paintings, but uh they just don't not as popular right now.
Didn't know it's
So
popular. So are
yeah,
you on the topic of, I guess, motorcycle helmets, are you learning, for example, with the handsaw? Excuse me. Yeah, some good beer. Are you learning how like these different paints interact with the surfaces and like the metals and how porous they are and like
yeah,
what if you have to put anything down before you put on the paint or
yeah. So it is kind of a trial and error thing. Even with the skateboards when I first started, and um, like learning how to paint on wood over canvas, and then now metal to canvas, and then the motorcycle helmets is a totally different structure, right? And um, yeah, so it's definitely it's been trial and error, and I'm kind of at a point now where most of that kind of stuff I figured out my process for each thing, which is nice. For initially, it was kind of a bummer because I don't really like to charge people for prep work because I know it's work, but it's also kind of I don't know. It's just prep work. Like I'm gonna have to do it for everything. I want to charge the person for the design that I'm doing because that's what they're paying me to do. Um, and now that I've become more efficient at that kind of stuff, it's great because I've been able to set harder prices and people know what they're getting into before they ask for a custom job. But then I do hit walls like the motorcycle helmets and stuff. I haven't ever touched them. I know there's a whole process of they're usually spray painted and with an air gun or something, and it's a big area that's enclosed off, and you're wearing the suit and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any of that. I'm putting acrylic paint on the helmet, so it's a whole different process and prep work for me than a traditional thing. I'm making more of an art piece, I guess, than I am a functional helmet. Uh,
yep.
and I was reading something. I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently acrylic paint doesn't deteriorate the helmet in any way, so you can still ride with it, but it's also just acrylic paint, so it could chip off pretty easily. It's not. Um, I don't know if like the same protective coating that you'd put on a helmet for a regular paint job would work for an acrylic paint job as well. So it's all just kind of stuff I'm kind of figuring out on my own, and um, like thank God we got the internet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, imagine the days before YouTube Academy.
Oh yeah, I don't know how I'd be passing college without YouTube.
On that note, I gotta pause and I gotta pee.
Yeah, dude, go for it.
Cool. I came back with my co-host. It's my dog Charlie. Say hi to Charlie.
Oh, oh, what's up, Charlie?
She old lady. You want to go down? Change your mind? Oh God. She bonked her head.
Oh,
That's okay. What were we talking about?
uh,
Helmets, clear coat.
yeah, helmets and clear coat. But yeah, just pretty much prepping anything that's new for me is it's a whole process, just like learning everything. Gotta
Yeah.
gotta figure things out, and it's kind of fun too in its own way. I love. I'm still very old school as far as I love projects. I love doing things with my hands and learning how a new skill. If you think about building something or whatever, I love getting my hands dirty like that. So in a way, it's kind of my way to do it and get paid to do it when I
Yeah.
have to prep something new. I got to learn a whole new industry almost just from doing something like that.
But that's the American dream, is it not? To get paid to play?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, it means different things to different people, but if you can get paid to just have fun, like
Yeah.
immigrant or natural born, like I think that's the American dream. And I think you're on the right track. So
for sure. I mean, at least it's my American dream, right?
Sure.
Like, uh, yeah, that's what I mean. I'm going to school right now. I'm trying to be an exercise physiologist, which is enjoy that a lot too, which is a total 180 from what I'm doing with the business. But uh, if I can get to a point where I'm doing both as much as I want to do either one, and I got enough capital to go do what I want to do in my off time, like I'm set. I don't need any more, any less than that, you know. Pretty simple guy.
Yep. So you got any future projects or like what's in the work? You don't have to spoil anything. I know this, I don't know who's listening, but
Oh no, man. I so far I'm just trying to pump out some more designs for some apparel right now. I want to get that kind of set and ready and uh make as many designs as possible just to give options to people. I'm kind of in the talks with someone about them selling their artwork through my company, which is great because right now I'm the only employee, so I'm doing all the work, and it'd be kind of a fun thing, like collaborations with this other artist and kind of promote them as well and get them on their feet. And um, I think that's kind of another direction I want this company to eventually go to is I want to take on people who are just starting and nurture their path to having their own thing going on. Um, I'm even looking at potentially leasing a space out here and getting multiple artists working in house, and we can do monthly showings and selling our own products and stuff. So that's kind of the future that I'm looking for. As far as big projects go, haven't touched a skateboard in a while, and I think it's this weekend I actually am going to start something kind of new and fresh and uh, hit up a skateboard with a totally different style of painting than I've ever tried before. So uh, yeah, it'll be all over my stories and stuff. So I guess stay tuned for that, you know.
all right, so you do the skateboard decks. Do you skate yourself?
I used to, I like was never really any good and now I kind of shot out my knees while we were in the Navy, so I don't skate too often. I'll snowboard when I can, but I used to be the guy that's like, yeah, let's go to the top of the mountain and do the half pipe and ride park and now I'm like, I'll go mid mountain and swing around for half the day, and then I want to get drunk in the hot tub later, you know? Like
There you
I
go.
don't I'm a little getting a little too creaky to be whipping my body around like that anymore.
I don't know about that. You'd be surprised. I've seen people pick up skating in their 50s.
That's fair.
I'm not one to talk though. I'm not great, but I definitely want to get out there and do it more. I'm just a sidewalk cruiser. I might even carve some like inclines in the skate park and stuff, but like you won't see me grinding rails.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, a rail is what I did a rail on a snowboard when I was 18, and I rode about half of that rail on my ribs. And I was like, oh, okay, so professional snowboard is out of the question for you. Like,
Damn.
yeah.
It was
I
at
mean,
that moment he knew.
yeah. I mean, I think it's so much fun. Our buddy Lee from the Navy, you know, he taught me and Kevin how to surf when we were in Hawaii, and uh, like just doing sports like that is so much fun, and I enjoy like the surf, snow, skate. There's nothing
Bro,
like
that
it.
not to cut you off, but to cut you off.
Yeah.
I need to reach out to Lee because I'm going to be flying home to California here in a week. And I just got off like a 2.5 hour phone call with another friend from there. And we were talking about surfing and how we both suck at it and we ate so much shit. And, but how like spiritually calming it is to just sit out there. And it's also good exercise. And, yeah, yeah, you're just out there, no headphones, no cell phone, just nature. Yeah, I need to hit him up. I'm trying to get some free surf lessons. So
Yeah, dude, he's good. He's really good. I actually just I made this koozie for his bachelor party not too long ago.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah, a little, and that's Lee, and that's his actual surfboard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, it's a good time. I like that view of being out there in nature, like you said, and it's just sitting out there and enjoying the moment. I don't think there's a lot of that going on anymore.
For
And
sure. Yeah.
it's kind of like that feeling you get when you're camping or something, but it's like a micro moment of that instead of having to dedicate a whole weekend, you know?
Well, were you able to stand up when you went?
Yeah, actually, I got up on my second try, I want to say. It wasn't for very long, but
Right.
I had some dude that was clapping for me, so I felt accomplished, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty addicting. Once you stand up once, you're like, I gotta do this again.
Oh yeah.
It must be conquered again. Like,
Yeah. And I was using a waterlogged board, you know? That's like a tour. It was Waikiki, pretty touristy area, so.
so it's a pretty beat up, passed around board.
Oh yeah, I was barely like I feel like I was barely even like above the water. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember I surfed in Hawaii with London too, and I just completely garbage. I thought I would just like keep trying, keep trying to stay in the squat, stay low, and I'll be fine. And no, I think I made the same mistake. I had a short board, about 5'10", 6 foot for carving.
Mm,
So a board that's probably better for more technical surfers who can get really aggressive on it. But
right.
because it's so small, it sits really low in the water, like you're saying, and it's like you're barely floating. And
Yeah,
if you're not on top of your game, like you're gonna eat it every time.
right. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's even when we're teaching new snowboarders and stuff, you know. It's like it doesn't matter about the board right now. Like just learn how to do the basic stuff and
Yeah.
uh then when you start getting into it, you're like, oh wow, there's a lot that go into these boards. There's different types for park riding and powder riding and for my unfortunate self, man, I got to get those extra those extra wide boards because I got freaking gorilla feet and
Oh, okay.
uh, it it's such a pain because I'm not that tall to have big feet like that, and these boards are for like
I'm
big dudes.
dude, I'm the same way. I have size 12 feet and I'm only like 5'10" or 5'9".
Yeah, so you
So
probably need one too. You probably need an extra wide board so you
yeah,
don't
even with skateboarding,
catch
like
it.
8.5 inch decks won't like cut it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's a problem, man. It's not fun. It's when everyone's like, "Oh, did you catch an edge?" And like, "No, my toe's hanging off the edge. I caught a toe," you know?
I caught it too, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I love that experience. So it's fun to just go with your buddies, and even when you're not, even when you suck, it's a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of things. Like that's a lot of hobbies I participate in. But yeah, the dunes, the motorcycles, the what it's like whatever, dude. As long as I'm with the boys.
Yeah,
So
heck yeah. I mean,
um go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, I'll never forget Kevin Mann's first time. Uh, he did the snow plow down like the hill the whole way to just try and stay up, and he kept falling and getting back up and falling, get back up, and this is like a mid mountain run, and this dude's dripping in sweat. He goes, "Oh, that's kind of a workout," and he's obviously the most in shape out of all of us.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man, it's a workout when you keep falling and have to get back up. Like, it's like point that nose down, man, and just go for it. But I think he goes all the time now, which is great. So that's what I love about the sports like that is you can,
For
uh,
real.
yeah,
Yeah, Lacey, you met Lacey. She converted him to like snow person, Central Cal.
oh yeah,
That's their thing now.
yeah, I love it, dude. I love it.
Excellent. Excellent. Do you have anything? Okay, so we got a little bit of time left because Zoom wants to kick us off again. You got anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say to people if they want you to create something for them, how they can be courteous and respectful of your time and designs?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, right now it's just me and it's pretty slow going. So I still answer to direct messages on Instagram and Facebook. Don't feel the big thing is just don't feel awkward about asking me. I love talking to people and um so yeah, just shoot me a message on either of those. If you follow me, I'd really appreciate it. So you can see the whole process of my artwork. And if you're looking for quick, easy Christmas gifts and holiday gifts right now, I got an apparel store that I also sell coffee mugs and stickers and miscellaneous accessories. And that's Inertia Art LLC dot store. Um, so yeah, that's, I mean, right now that's kind of all I got going on. And yeah, I just hope that whoever's looking at my stuff is liking it and it connects with them in some way, you know?
Hell yeah. What's the most recent project right now?
Most recent project is I'm working on this ginormous canvas for my buddy. It's a portrait of him, uh, holding down a bull, like the dodgeball painting that Ben Stiller had behind him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so it's him pretty much. It's pretty much almost the same painting.
but he's Ben Stiller.
But I'm gonna use my buddy's face, and the bull's gonna be in a little bit different uh way, but it's pretty much the same picture. And he's asking for a ginormous canvas, so it's gonna probably take me a couple months, but I'm pretty excited to put my hands on something crazy like that.
That's comedy. That's funny.
Yeah.
I would want that right over the bedroom. The right over the bed frame, the headboard.
Yeah, he's just insanely more buff than you'll ever be too.
You invite girls over to your place. You're like, "Hey, baby, this is just where I hang out during the weekdays. This is one of my many homes." Like
Yeah, yeah, this is a document of a time in my past, you
in
know.
my past, yeah. Fucking hell yeah, dude. Well, thanks for doing this with me. I want to do it again, and yeah, it's been exciting. I think hopefully I've been able to share with others what you do, and this helps you out because I enjoyed hanging out with you and digging a little deeper and learning a lot of things I didn't know about you before because we don't hop on FaceTime too often. So
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on, and thank you for the opportunity. And I hope everything's going well with you, and I hope everything in the future, especially real estate wise too, is going to take off and get a little better for you. And um, yeah, just thanks, man. Always appreciate talking to you. You're an awesome dude, great friend, and appreciate your time.
all right, my friend, Inertia Art LLC dot store.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, peace.
Right on. Thanks.